they are still in the Gambia. Some people have gone as far as describing them as occupying forces, that they have now outlived their purpose, their mandate in the Gambia. The threat was from Jammeh that there could be, he could stage a comeback. It did not happen. It's now going to more than 8 years since he left. Recently, the National Assembly, because the reason why a lot of people want ECOMIN to pull out of the Gambia is to give the Gambian security apparatus the chance to really take care of the security matters of the country. Even if not ECOMIN forces, few of them are now left there. There is still semblance of ECOMIN, or the semblance of the fact that there is still a little bit of, not instability, but things haven't fully settled. So now, the National Assembly member, one of the National Assembly members recently was a question to the Minister of Defense about the quote unquote the premature retiring of some members of Gambia Armed Forces. But then the minister was on the defensive to say, well, they went with all their benefit and a huge package for their retirement. So there was nothing wrong in them going for retirement. What are these things for Gambia?
Okay. Well, you know, codes of conduct exist, terms of reference exist, and the reason why one is employed exists. All right. When I go back to my experience in the army, when I was in the Gambia, I think it's between the Recruitment Public Service Commission that would determine who you are working for the government and being paid with a personal file. So there is also the Armed Forces Act and all this stuff to combine together. But especially when you're an officer, I think your file goes to PMO, Public Personnel Management Office, Public Service Commission. I mean, they are more like hired, like any other high-ranking civilian is hired. Okay, so if that is the case, I cannot come here and say why these soldiers were retired. I haven't seen their personal files. I haven't seen their package, because in the military, you may either be charged or there is a reason why you are going out for health reasons, or because you have served a certain number of years and then you want to leave, stuff like that. But when it is about the National Assembly member concerned was also had when it was about the voting for the diasporans, right? So now I want to know the contents of the reason of his questions, whether they are actually related to what happened, what led to those soldiers being retired or not. Because the Minister of Defense, I don't think he was being defensive. I think he was in a position where he was obliged to explain, and he did that. If it were me also, I would have done the same thing. The Commander-in-Chief is the one, as it pleases him. Whether what pleases him is right or wrong, that's another question. But it's not the Minister of Defense cannot just retire all these military officers and tell them go home. He cannot do that. The authority must come from the head of state as the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, who is the President of the Republic. So I think he's the only person who can give answers to why he asked them to go. Not us. Yeah.
I saw a picture. I thought it was Photoshop about him. You know.
I knew you would bring this picture to your interview today.
Exactly. Yeah. So, of course, why would the head of state be?
It worries you so much.
Yeah. Well, not that much, but if something comes to my mind, that is, militarily, he's prepared. Like you, have you forgotten how to shoot?
Me?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I have forgotten how to shoot. What is shooting itself? I don't know what you're talking about. You are the one who hold onto your guns all the time.
Okay. So what does that tell you? Driving away Ecowas from the kicking out Ecowas from his country, and the next minute is he's holding on to power or holding on to his guns to say that he's going to go ahead with his third term, you know, and knowing how volatile his country is. The last time we talked about it, Nino Vera, how he was murdered at his presidential palace. Guinea-Bissau is one country that is very highly unpredictable. And they are veterans, you know very well, when it comes when it comes to warfare. So, I mean, what does it actually tell you about power? Why is it that power becomes an intoxicant nowadays?
The thing is that, Mr. Baldeh, you see, when we make reference to what are the causes of instability in West Africa, one of them is what you just showed. A president holding a gun, going to a firing range, you know, taking photo shots and sending them online, telling people that I am ready, I'm a brave man. That's personality cult. And these are the precipitants. That's why I believe the Ecowas delegation went in there. These are the things they saw coming. Now, holding a gun, going to a firing range, shooting here and there, if that was the reason, or if that was enough reason for anybody to make people fear you to stay in power, Saddam Hussein would have still been in power. What do we see about Saddam? The past pictures, most of them is a gun he's shooting in the air. The gold pistol that Gaddafi had is the gold pistol that shot him to death. The person who captured him used that gun to kill Gaddafi. So had guns, holding guns, going to shooting range here and there, been the very reason why nobody would die, Thomas Sankara would have been around. He had his pistol all the time. Isn't it? So for me, I'm not moved by Mbalo going there at the firing range. In the United States, you and I know, in the United States of America, children, women, husbands, wife, you can have a certificate. Even this Saturday coming, if I want, I can go shoot it. So I don't know what is the
I thought you said you forgot how to shoot.
Yeah, I was, okay, you caught me on that one. You caught me. Okay, I said I forgot how to shoot. You are a very bad boy. Okay, you caught me. But the thing is, Ibrahim, I mean, seriously speaking, this mystery is why some of them, you know where I'm going to bring back the discussion? This is why sitting governments and certain people do not like the diaspora. This is the very reason why. Because you cannot mystify yourself before people like Ebrima, Baldeh, and others, because they would not care, because they see jets, they see bombs, they see it every day. You know? So look at that personality cult of Mbalo in Guinea-Bissau, going out there, standing in his firing range as a president, holding a telescopic rifle. You may not even know how many, I mean, being a college general doesn't mean that you are a weapon expert. You meet some of us who, not to bluff about it, but that's the truth. The school I was trained in Senegal. Don't ask me whether I said I cannot shoot, but I was just trained, but I was not shooting. You know, they tie our eyes, we dismantle and assemble a gun. You know, so this personality cult, testing yourself, running around, showing people that I'm dangerous, putting on berets here, red hats there, shooting guns in firing range. Let them do that for other people, not for us. Not for us, Ebrima. So this is exactly why ECOWAS is dismantled. And this is why it is crumbling, Ebrima. Because we don't have seriousness within the circle of leadership. What we have is personality cult, people trying to show people that at night, I dance with the stars because I'm a special person. I'm gifted. Okay? I have jujus. I inherited jujus and charms. I am a very dangerous person. That's why we cannot have seriousness in our governance. You know?
Since the 1970s, the mid-1970s, but ECOWAS, correct me if I am wrong, is going through a very, very serious challenge. That is the breakaway of some members countries, such as Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. They went ahead and set up their own passport. And now I understand, you know very well, or you've heard about it, that another nation is looking forward to joining them, is considering options of joining them. Tell us, what are your thoughts on this issue?
In this case, ECOWAS people feel that there is no connect between the institution and the societies of West Africa itself. ECOWAS, for most people, is seen as a club of heads of state. And why do people feel like that? It's because of the functionalities of ECOWAS itself. You know, because look at Burkina Faso, for example, like you are mentioning about the alliance of Sahel States. What the former president that Traore removed is a colleague of his. They were in the army. What precipitated that is the soldiers felt frustrated on the front line. They were fighting the jihadis. And the jihadis, this is an issue not only for Burkina, but it's a Sahelian issue. And then they wanted to sit with him, according to what we know, to talk to him. He refused. You know? And most of those people, when they do that, even if they are military personnel, they are more preoccupied with an approval from ECOWAS than you can belong to the bubble. From the household to the office, from the office to the market and in the street, they have not done a good job. The only people who can tell you a lot about ECOWAS are those in power or those within the state machinery. If you look at it the other way around, it's more officious, more official than it being a natural process to bring us together. So for me, that's why I always keep on saying that I am not a fan of ECOWAS. Doesn't mean I am against the existence of ECOWAS. I'm not fan of ECOWAS means I am against the modus operandi of ECOWAS itself. This is why I said I'm not their fan. You know, because ECOWAS's behavior is more like an amplified state house. The repulsive nature, the press releases that come out, the defensive nature, and all that stuff. That's what they do. You only consult the heads of state. They will tell you ECOWAS parliament. That ECOWAS parliament is more of form than substance. It is always influenced by the executive of the different member states. You see, ECOWAS has to work on its mechanism. Now, when you come to these states you mentioned, like the alliance of Sahel states, you rightly mentioned them, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. And like you said, there is one member state on the verge of joining ECOWAS. In fact, I would say two member states. What the invisible structure has captured, what intelligence has captured. There even be three member states. I cannot stand here and mention their names, but I know for a fact there is no way why I would come online, come on televisions, and then start telling people that ECOWAS is crumbling when I don't have reasons to back it up. The honest truth is it is crumbling, and they are working very hard to stop it from crumbling in terms of speeches, in terms of protocol niceties, in terms of dealing with heads of state, trying to convince them. But the reality can never be covered. It's just like if you want to cover glowing charcoal with cotton. You cannot. When the wind blows, the smoke will come out and the flames will rise. And there were justifications for that. Had they gone into Niger by now, Nigeria itself would have been destabilized.
Oh.
Straight up.
Oh.
Because of the geography. The northern side of Nigeria is the same intermarriages, the same Islam, the same herdsmen, the same Fulani, the name Hausa Fulani in Niger. So it would not have worked because of the hegemony there. Nigeria was smart enough, though, to understand, because, you know, warfare is not only firing shots. There are different ways. In fact, I remember during our intervention on the television when I told somebody that the war has begun. Because today, I remember my words, Nigeria has stopped electricity supply into Niger. That's war. You see, war is not only about firing guns. Economic warfare is there, isn't it? And in fact, that is more serious sometimes for certain countries. Okay, Nigeria did not intervene. Now look at Niger, how it's going. You saw the Nigerian general, I think the head of the Nigerian army. I'm not sure whether you saw him, but I guess you did, because I know your radar is very, very active. You're always capturing things. The man came out yesterday and said, for the alliance of Sahelian states, if they continue being out of ECOWAS, it's not going to be good for Nigeria's economy. He is very honest. He's a soldier. I'm not saying all soldiers are honest. No. And not all politicians are dishonest. We have to be very, honest about it. Some politicians are very, very honest. Politics is not for tricks. It is science, political science. Okay? Not all soldiers are honest. Some of them are very dishonest. But he was honest enough to say that. Now, what does that mean? He is very much into strategic analysis towards the future. Because these countries, the way they are growing, ECOWAS has to be careful, because in any setting, if there is an alternative, the possibility of the alternative coming to uproot the setting is there also. Why we have political parties in power and political parties in the opposition? Don't we have that?
Yeah.
Don't we always see the cycle of opposition removing political parties in power? Now, ECOWAS's case is geographic, is economic, is political, is security, is diplomatic. It is local and it is global. So these people know how to play their cards too, because they are within the geostrategic arena. ECOWAS has a voice somewhere, and then the alliance of Sahel states also will have a voice there. You saw Traore was received in Moscow, isn't it?
Yes.
Can ECOWAS stop him from going to Moscow?
No.
Can ECOWAS stop him from going to China? Can they stop him from going to America or anywhere? No. Because those countries or those organizations outside are only after dealing with the state in place, and they see that you are in control. That's all they want. Okay, for example, today we have seen NATO, and we have understood that United States of America is withdrawing from NATO, and that is a cause for concern in European countries. The moment there is that vacuum in Europe, most of these things that ECOWAS is doing today, going to those European countries, talking to them, saying that they can support, they would be more concerned about themselves than ECOWAS, than West Africa. Okay? So these people in these military, military regimes, the ones who are controlling Burkina today, Mali today, and Niger today, okay, Doumbouya has not said he's out of ECOWAS. But is Doumbouya really, really practically answerable to ECOWAS? Look at what he did. He banned all these political parties, isn't it?
Yes.
Suspended some of them. A person responsive to being an ECOWAS member state, would you do that unilaterally?
No.
Were they not in Guinea-Bissau?
Yeah.
Unilaterally, Embalo told them to leave the territory of Guinea-Bissau, and they left.
Yes.
Had they not left, you know what was going to happen? I was in the army. I know how the soldiers think. He would have arrested them because he's the head of state. Oh yes. Or he would have put them in a vehicle as a section of the army to escort them out of Guinea-Bissau. So what else do you want to tell me?
What's the way forward now? What should we do? Or what should we brace up for?
What we should brace up for, that's a very good question. Let's brace up for a dismantling ECOWAS, a crumbling ECOWAS. Let's also know that these are strategic leaders. Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger are not jokers. Now look at Burkina. He has earned the respect of Mahama in Ghana. Hasn't he? He has earned the respect of Mahama in Ghana. They have earned the respect. Now, if Guinea-Bissau, as what they are doing right now, will you be surprised if you wake up one day to tell you that Guinea-Bissau is part of this the alliance of Sahelian states, Mr. Ebrima?
I'll be surprised, utterly surprised.
You'll be surprised that Guinea-Bissau joins the alliance of Sahelian states?
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm even surprised that you will be surprised.
Of course, no. Why would I be surprised? Is because I would have expected a Democrat, a so-called Democrat like Malo, not to look at his personal interest or prolonging himself to power by aligning with recalcitrant military regime. I know Ecowas may not be the best bet. They have their own issues. But again, to replace ECOWAS, you need another political entity that has sound policies for the region. But being a rebel or break away, I think the military men at some point will be caught off pants down, eating their own words. We've had the DJ Rollins, you know more than me. We have the Thomas Sankara. But it will be difficult for these people to operate independently for long without crumbling. That's my take.
Yeah, that is your opinion, and I respect it. The other part of it is that is our wish. That is what is correct. What is what we should do. But my question, of course, I'm not here to ask you a question. Is do you think ECOWAS is the best alternative to bring what you are thinking should be the ECOWAS right now?
Well, I think there is still chance to make amends.
But Ebrima, where was ECOWAS when these people were seceding and forming the Sahelian Association of Sahelian States? Where were they?
They were in existence.
If you cannot stop these people to be breakaway to form an alternative, that would have been easier than convincing them to come back. And let me tell you one thing, these countries concerned here, Ebrima, if they know how to manage things, they have the greater portion of the natural resources buried in West Africa. You know, be careful. The countries we are talking about are countries with natural resources. We have Guinea-Bissau. We have Mali. You know, Burkina Faso, Niger. Is there any country that has more natural resources than these countries in West Africa?
No.
Maybe you will tell me Nigeria, but Nigeria's population already. You heard what the general said.